So you alluded to it. At what point does it become like the person is doing too much?
Doing too much with their looks?
Yeah,
their
because we
looks.
saw what's looking good. Now let's get a point. At what point does it look like they're doing too much?
Okay, well, before we start talking about this, I mean, this might be a controversial topic, you know? But there's definitely times where, you know, you might see a woman that like is attractive, right? But also not really because they're doing too much. They did too much with like plastic surgery
I know what you're talking about.
or something around those lines. Like lip fillers are too much. You can tell.
I was just thinking that
That's
too.
the first thing.
You can tell. What else? I don't know. Like, also another thing. I mean, the obvious one is like caked on makeup sometimes. You know, I'm not saying it necessarily like it being a bad thing, but sometimes you can just tell. Like you're like either it's cheap or I don't know.
No, I get what you mean. It's not
You know
like
what I'm
something.
saying?
It's something you can like strictly categorize, but when you see it, you know.
Right, and there's also like we've all seen like girls that that you would classify as attractive, and then they start doing stuff to themselves, and then they're just kind of like, why'd you do that?
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
what you mean. Less is more.
Right.
Right. There's some people I think like if they want to do lip, it makes sense for their face and it does really make them look, you know, more beautiful and that's another thing if it makes them feel more confident and you said confidence is so attractive. So
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, there is definitely limits
For sure.
to it.
Okay. I think also like when it comes to females, I think they're doing too much. You're right, the makeup. For me, it's the makeup. And
Yeah.
like I think there's a correlation to this. I think the younger they are, usually like, when they're not as experienced with their makeup and they're not as in tune with themselves, they kind of overdo it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And as they
for
get
sure.
older, I think like you tell me as a woman, like as you get
Yeah.
older, you kind of do less.
Yeah.
And but it like like what looks good on you, and like know
Sure.
what like how to own the makeup better, so it looks better and better with age.
100%. I used to put on way too much makeup when I was younger and it looked terrible. But we also didn't have like iPhones to like watch videos and watch influencers on how to do makeup. And you would just try your best to like make it look like a magazine or the person you saw on TV. So I think maybe now, like the younger generation, they do maybe wear a lot of makeup, but they're really good at
Okay, I can see what you mean by that.
it. Like they have skill and technique when applying.
Yeah, I think it also kind of depends on, I don't want to say the race or the ethnicity or where the region are from, but certain regions and ethnicities they use like more makeup and it actually looks like good, versus other people they use not as much makeup and it doesn't look as good, or vice versa. So I think it depends for sure. But I piggyback off what you're saying is like when people do something that kind of like throws their look off balance. That's how I think of it. Like when it's off balance, like the lips are too big for someone's face, or something like that, right? Or maybe they're putting so much makeup on their face that their skin tone just doesn't look like right with the rest. Like that's something you can think in your head, but you don't think it in your head. You just notice it, but you don't put it into words. You're just like something's just off. That's the best way I can explain
It's
it.
not blended in right.
Yeah, exactly.
Lashes.
Exactly.
Like some people will be going OD with those lashes.
When they're about to fly away.
Yeah. Chill out, girly. girly
I'm
pop.
like, but bro, you'll be like, them lashes like 3 times as big as your eyeballs. It doesn't look right.
Like back in the day, we used to call those Halloween lashes because they were costume lashes.
Oh,
and now
really?
it's like everybody has them. And I'm like, oh.
I just had a thought. We talking about like research about makeup and stuff like that. I feel like people with like darker complexion, like yourself, you're a little bit more tanner, like Middle Eastern people that have like darker features. I feel like y'all can like can put on more makeup to accentuate your look since you already have that kind of like darker feature. While the more paler people, you kind of can't do that as much because then it becomes like a little bit way too much.
Dude, right.
Do you know what I mean by
Yeah.
that?
That's a good point.
Like
You think like makeup blends into our complexion better?
yeah. Or like you can do like a more like more what's the word I'm looking for? More
Drastic.
rustic,
Dramatic.
Yeah, I know you're right, because then people with darker complexion, they can put more aggressive, like one thing I noticed, you can put more colorful eyeshadow, and it won't look as like cartoonish or clowny kind of like, I'll see
I
people
feel
with
that.
darker skin, they'll put like blues and purples on. I'm like, wow, that looks really nice. And if someone's like pale and puts that on, I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like for you, like you could probably put more contour in your cheeks and
Mhm.
stuff like that and like really get it in there and it makes your face look very like chiseled.
Mhm.
Where somebody paler can't really do that. It's like, all right, you do a little too much now.
It's true.
Right.
I
You know
what I
didn't
mean?
think about that.
I never thought about
Yeah.
I just thought about that.
that's a good
Yeah,
point.
that's a really good point.
So that's why I think that like more
Yeah.
like Koreans and like the Chinese people tend to be more paler. They don't do like that.
They
like
do more
crazy.
natural look.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's I just
Yeah.
thought about that just
I-
now.
That makes sense because bronzer is brown and I'm brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. The only reason why I can agree with you is because whenever we go to weddings and our aunts, I love you guys. If you guys are watching this, when our aunts put on eyeshadow and this anything other than normal colors is like purple and pink, I'm like, that looks terrible.
Oh, that's true.
That's the only thing I can think about. I'm like,
Yikes.
just put like normal eyeshadow on. Like, why you gotta be all purple and pink and
Yeah.